Hello students, now we are going to continue our lecture of chapter 3rd of Indian Economic Development, that is the feature problems of agriculture. Now here you can see that the next topic is land reforms. Okay, so here the first point will be abolition of the intermediaries. So basically this was the action plan of the government in which they made certain changes. Reforms are nothing but the changes which are made regarding the land issues. So first is abolition of the intermediaries. See, intermediaries is who? Intermediaries between the state and the actual tillers of the soil, popularly known as zamindars, have been abolished. Now, in the time of the Britishers, there was zamindar who were controlling everything. They were taking the revenue from the peasants and charging them a very high rent. Now what happened, this has been removed, this zamindari system has been removed, all the land has been taken away from these zamindars now. So this ownership right have been conferred upon this who were actually cultivated or till the soil. This had been done with the view of stopping exploitation of the cultivators by the zamindar. So what they have done, they have taken this ownership right from the zamindar and given to those people who are the actual tillers of the soil. Means those people who were working in the on the lands of these landlords, they were becoming this owner of these lands now. Now, second point is regularization of rent. Okay. Now here in the starting, in the beginning, the zamindar were absolutely free to collect as much as rent as possible from the tillers of the soils. Now it is fixed by the government that a certain amount can be taken from these people who are cultivating, or they are called as the tillers of the soil, and there will be no exploitation in this case now. So here, to put an end to this excessive illegal extortion from the cultivators, rent have been fixed. Okay, generally these are not to be accessed the one third of the value of the crop. Now you cannot charge more than one third of the value in form of rent from these tillers of the soils. Okay. Now, consolidation of holding. What is consolidation of holding? See, with a view to reducing fragmentation, steps have been initiated for the consolidation of the land holding. In the beginning, what happened, we learned in the previous part that the land was scattered all around of these people who were indulged in agriculture. So what they done, they consolidated the land, means those land were scattered, so they calculated the amount of land that each person is having, and they gave at a certain place or some other place the land to these people who are farmers. Now these people are having a big piece of land instead of having fragmented lands and the different areas. Now, consolidation is a part to allot the land to the farmer at one place as a replacement of his scattered holding here and there. It saves the cost of cultivation. Now, the cost of these peoples who will be indulged in agriculture, definitely when you are having your entire land not scattered but at one place only, you can purchase their tractors and all this kind of stuff like harvesters, and you can do the cultivation. This will reduce the cost also. Now, ceiling on land holdings. Now, ceiling on land holdings means what? With a view to promoting equality in the distribution of the land, ceiling has been imposed on the holding size. Now, ceiling on the holding is the maximum size of cultivable land holding that an individual of a family can own. The surplus land over and above the ceiling limit has been resumed by the government and redistributed among the small holders or the landless laborers. Now what happened? Here the government sealed the land. If the people is having if a person is having lot of land under his name, then that part of land is been taken away from him and that land was given to the landless labor. This is how the government sealed the land holding. Now you can just have a specified amount of land under your name. If you are owner of too much of land, then that particular land will be taken from you. Okay. Now after this, the next change which was made by this wave of land reform was cooperative farming. So what is cooperative farming? Cooperative farming is encouraged to enhance bargaining power of the smallholders. Together they can buy input at a lower price and sell their produce at a higher price. So cooperative farming started here. All these small holders of the land, they can do the collective bargaining. If they want to purchase anything, inputs like seeds, fertilizer, they can bargain it at a low price. They will get all such kind of products. So this will be good, and at the same point of time when they'll go for selling also, they will get better price for their products. Then next is general reforms. What are general reforms? See, here the first step in the general reform is expansion of irrigation facilities. Okay, so irrigation facilities was improved here. So with a view to raising productivity in the agriculture, irrigation facilities have expanded. Several major and minor irrigation projects have launched across the different part of the country. Now here in 1951, barely 17% of the land was under the permanent means of irrigation. Now irrigation is covering about 45% of the land under cultivation. Now you can see here that in the beginning in 1951, 17% of the land was under irrigation. Now 45% has been covered by the by this irrigation. Now in 45% we are having this irrigation facility, which is a good improvement. Okay. Now provision of credit. Credit means money which we take from the banks or in form of loan. That is a credit. So here such kind of facility was provided. Like cooperative credit society was set up to provide credit to the farmer at low rate of interest. Okay, so here the loan will be provided to the farmer at a very low rate of interest. Now also RRB and rural development banks have been established to cater the credit needs of the farmer. Now all these RRB, regional rural banks, IBRD, all these were simply set up so that the farmer will be able to get easy loans on easy installments. At present there are 94,647 primary agriculture credit society and 768 primary cooperative agriculture society. Rural development bank in the country. Commercial bank have also been catering to the needs of the farmer. So here you can see that commercial banks, beside this cooperative societies and all, commercial banks are also providing loan to the farmer because it was also told to such banks to give or provide loans to the farmer because they realized that this RRB, IBRD, that the finance or credit was not enough. So they told commercial bank also to give some credit to the farmers. Now these banks provide about 72% of the total institutional credit. Now this is a good amount, that 72% of this total institution the bank they are providing it to this agriculture field. Now regional rural bank has been established further enhance credit facility to the farmers. Now RRB, I already told you that RRB was established simply to provide this credit facility to the farmers. And NABARD, and 1982 this NABARD was established, and simply the purpose was just to provide this credit facility at the national level to these farmers. Now the third point will be regulated market. The regulated market means somebody will be keeping an eye on this market of this all this where all these goods, agriculture goods will be sold. And cooperative marketing society. Okay, now let us read it. A regulated market have been established across all the part of the country. This is with the view to offering a remunerative price to the farmer and protect them against the exploitation of the middlemen. So these markets are governed by the market committees appointed by the government. This committee ensure timely payment to the farmers and also ensure that only specified weight and measures are used to weight the value of the farmer's produce. Now there will be a person of this government. He'll be coming and checking all this produce when it will be sold. There should be no middleman or agent in between. He will be checking that, and also when these produce will be weighted, like if somebody is measuring the weight of all this agriculture product, it will be under the supervision of a government official and he will be looking after it. Okay, so here market is regulated by them, and this is how the farmer will be getting good prices for his produce and he will not be exploited. Now cooperating market society is the another thing. Now what is this? See, these have been established to enhance the bargaining power of the farmer in the market. So this society ensures that the farmer produce is graded and sold only when remunerative price is available. So first thing to be noted is here farmer produce whatever he is producing, like if the farmer is producing wheat, then that wheat will be graded. Okay, so after that it will be sold. There will be different prices for different grade of crops. Now, the cooperative society ensured that there was no glut of supplies in the market so that the crop price does not crash. So, provision for the storage of the crops is made by the society on the behalf of the member farmers. Now, what happened? They actually check that there should be glut in the market. There should not be too much of excess supply in the market, because when excess supply happens in the market, suppose there is too much produce of rice in the market, then the price will crash. because too much supply, then definitely the prices which they can demand will be less if supply increases. So here we can say that the government is looking or taking care of that also, so that the price does not crash, and they are having some storage facility. Okay, so in that case they can look after it. Now, price support policy or minimum support price. Now, what is this thing? Under this policy, the government assures a minimum support to the farmer for his produce as to protect him against the uncertainty of the market. So what is this? See, when these farmers, when they sell the product in the market, and suppose there is excess supply of some commodity in the market like onions. If there is excess supply of onion in the market, what will happen to the price? The prices of the onion will fall in the market, and may be possible that the farmer has incurred the cost of 10 rupees per kg on onions, and he is not getting even 5 rupees from the market if he is selling. So there is no use to sell such kind of commodity at such a price. So here the government will be coming up with this thing, minimum support price, and they will be supporting, they will be providing 12 rupees or 13 rupees more than their cost, so that they can get a reasonable price for their products. So this is MSP policy. Now, achievement of these agrarian reforms, all the technical general reforms, land reform, what were their achievements? If this question comes, then what we have to write? So achievements of agrarian reforms or green revolution. So thanks to this agrarian reforms, there has been substantial improvement in the Indian agriculture from the backward stagnant sector of the economy. Agriculture has emerged to be the developing sector of the economy. So when we were stagnant, we have just begun in the very beginning. We learned about this, and at that time the first sector which came up was this primary sector or agriculture sector. So this achievement was so substantial that it is came to be known as green revolutions. That's why we call it as a green revolution or Harit Kranti, it is called in Hindi. So it is just like it supported India to get or achieve this first goal in the when these first 5 year plans were made. So we really focused in this first 5 year plan upon this agriculture. We were relying on agriculture, and it really turned out to be fruitful or for India. Now, the term green revolution refers to the crops. Revolution means spurt, means growth. Together their term implies a spurt in the crop production, means too much of crop production has been done because of this green revolution. It started happening in India in the years of 68 70 68 70 67. In the year 1967-68 itself, food grain production increased by nearly 25%. India becomes self-sufficient in the production of food grains. So what happened in 68 and the 67? See, the India was becoming self-sufficient, and we were not relying upon the other countries for our food supplies. Now, the phase there are two phases where the green revolution was spread. In the first phase, that is 16th and 17th, second phase, that is 70s and 80s. So during this phase, the scope of green revolution was restricted largely to wheat and rice. So in 1670s, our focus was on the wheat and rice growing regions of the country. This included the state of Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Okay, so these were the state in the 60s and 70s where the focus was on the wheat and rice. But after that, in the 70s and 80s, what happened? During this phase, the impact of the green revolution became widespread. Okay, so it started spreading other parts also. Now covering, it covered most of the areas of the country, larger number of the crops. So here across these phases, green revolution characterized by following feature. So here what happened in this second phase? See, the first thing which happened is spurt, means growth in the crop productivity. So there was a serious increase in the crop productivity here. So productivity of the wheat was estimated at 3,408 kg per hectare in 2018-19 compared to just 660 kg per hectare in 1951. If you talk about rice, it was 2665 kg per hectare in 2018, and compared to the 665 kg, means we can see there are 5 to 6% 5 6 times increase in this production level, which is a huge success hectare in this 1951. And the maize is also 1114 kg per hectare in 2018, in comparison to just 704 kg in 1951. So we can see that after independence, when this agriculture sector started in terms of maize, rice, wheat, we were doing really well. Okay, so this is how they achieved the overachieved the target. Actually, in the first 5 year plans, we overachieved the target. Now, The spurt in the productivity had led to the structural shift in the Indian agriculture. What is structural shift? The structural shift when when your one sector performs, then definitely the other sector will also come into performance. Like industrial sector, if you're producing lot of sugar cane, then definitely sugar industry will come. If you're growing cotton, then some textile mills will be developed in the country. So this is when this one sector performs, it led to the it leads to the involvement of the other sectors also. So other sector will also be rising up slowly. So it happened in India, and in the other 5 year plans India focus on this industrialization process. Now substantial rise in the acreage. So acreage is what? Area under cultivation. So because of the use of high yield varieties, technology seeds has this HIV is what? High yield variety seeds. Okay. So this is kind of technology which significantly reduce the time lag between the sowing and harvesting of the crops. So what happened? This sowing and harvesting, this time between this period was really reduced, and the farmers are even able to grow the crops twice in a year. So this actually led to the increase in the productivity of the crops. Now use of chemical fertilizers has eliminated the need of the fallowing. Okay, now what they are using here, the in this green revolution, this chemical fertilizer is what? Fertilizer is the thing which is used to make the soil fertile. Okay, so fallowing was the simple process in which the farmer used to leave the land for a very long time, and it will regenerate its production capacity. So if you leave the land for some time and you are not doing any kind of production on it, so it will regain its fertility. So this is the concept of fallowing. So it is now there is no need to do this fallowing. You can continuously grow the crop by using the fertilizers and maintain the fertility of the soil. Okay, now accordingly double cropping has become possible. This led to the substantial rise in the gross area in the cultivation. This is how this cultivation area was increased. Now shift from subsistence farming to the commercial farming. So what the see in the very beginning, the farmer was simply thinking about the subsistence, means jivan nirvah karna. They just want their family to survive, and they were growing just enough crops so that their family can survive by eating such kind of crops. Now their this commercial farming started. So what does it mean? In substantial rise in the output owing to the increase in productivity and increase in acreage, they started generating marketing surplus. Now they were producing more, because when this surplus came, what they happened, this promoted the farmer to gradually shift to subsistence farming to commercial farming. Now they started thinking about making money. So this was the advantage of green revolution. Then change in farmers outlook. So commercialization of agriculture has caused to change in the outlook of the farmers. Farming is no longer viewed as a source of subsistence, it is a commercial venture as well. Now when the farmer thinks, they are not thinking about the survival of their family and all, they are simply trying to make money. Their outlook or mentality has been changed. There is change in mentality. Then self-sufficiency in the food grain production. So because of this green revolution, the self-sufficiency means India is not relying on the other countries. In the case of this USA, when India was having war with Pakistan, and this USA was supplying us food at that point of time, we were relying on USA, and when USA told us that to stop the war, otherwise they will stop these foods and all food supplies, so we had to call back our military forces and stopped the war. So this is how these other countries were influencing. But after this thing, self-sufficiency, when there was self-sufficiency in terms of food production, there was no need to rely on the other countries now, which is a good thing now. So increase in the food production caused an increase in the acreage, and increase in productivity has been so substantial that India has started maintaining buffer stocks of the food grain. Now India is doing, India is having its buffer stocks, means India is enough producing enough food articles or food grains, and it is just making a stock of that. So whenever there will be requirement, they can either use it in such a case. Whenever there's a drought, sukha padta, in that case they can use such kind of food grains. Now these stocks are used during the period of lean or low farm supplies. So same thing, if drought is there, low supply is there, then we can use such kind of our produce. Now this is called as self-sufficiency. The revolution rise in the output which help in the growth with self-sufficiency. So India was really doing well because of this agriculture. Now there's a just short summary of it here. Briefly, owing to the technical and this all this general reform, India has been achieved a substantial rise in the crop production through increase in the productivity as well increase in acreage. The rise in the level of the production has been so substantial compared with the level of the EU of independence. So, or this is called as green revolution. So definitely at the time of independence and today we are standing in a very good position because all these things, all these land reforms, technical reforms, general reforms has really helped India to move forward in agriculture field. Now, what are the limitations of this green revolution? See, there are some failures also of this green revolution. Let us discuss the failures also. Okay, so it was important. See, these gains of green revolutions are very important and significant, but not sufficient. It was not enough. Why they are saying so? What are the limitation? So the first limitation is limited crops. So there is a revolutionary rise in the output. We know this because of green revolution. There was too much increase in the production of food grain, but it confined mainly to the production of food grains, wheat and rice. This has been no similar rise in the production of pulses and commercial crops. So wheat and rice has really improved well. It has been increase in a great number, but about the other crops like jute, cotton, and all these commercial types of crops, their number has not been increased up to that level. Now uneven spread means what? Now here it is spread in not like in every part of India. This green revolution has been spread in few parts in few states, and the other states were not affected by it, means there were no serious increase in such kind of states. So here the spread of green revolution has not been uniform across all the regions. In states like Punjab, Haryana, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, it made a very good impact, but in eastern UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, in our area, and Odisha, it impact a very insignificant. So in this UP, Bihar, MP, here this spread was not that good. So this was a failure here. Okay, then limited farming population. So bulk of the farming population in India consists of small and marginal farmers. So the gain of the green revolution have eluded these farmers because HI technology requires heavy inputs which are beyond the reach of marginal farmers. Now these people are limited farming population, means these people are not having that much resources. Whenever they will buy these hybrid high yield variety seeds, they will have to incur more expenditure, or they will have to purchase more inputs for saving such kind of crops, so that they are not having that much money, so they are not doing it. So another problem is for these small farmers. Now however, rich population means they are easily able to achieve all these kind of things. They can easily buy the inputs for their farming area, so they are doing it really well, but about the small farmers, they cannot do it. Now, economic divide. So, what is economic divide? Simply, it is a gap between the rich and the poor farmer. Okay. So here there is a difference, because here we can see that the farmers who are rich, they are getting more money, and the poor farmers who are not having enough land with them, they are not getting that much of benefit of this farming, and they are not even able to invest in their land and produce a good amount of crops, and that's why their condition is very poor. So there is a big gap between the rich and the poor farmers now. So this is called as the economic divide. Now there is a slight question: does India need another green revolution? This is a general question which is asked. So yes, definitely we can say that we need another green revolution. Why? Because see, our population of India is increasing day by day. So in the future, definitely we need another green revolution. In the future, we need more food grains to feed our population. So this is particularly true when the grains are being viewed as a relation to our needs and relation to what other countries are have achieved. So following observation would prove need to get another green revolution in the Indian agriculture. So definitely we'll need another green revolution in the Indian agriculture. So what is the reason here? See, our productive standard are very low compared to the other nation. In terms of the other countries, our population is too much, and we are not actually getting enough food supplies maybe in future. Then our food grain stocks are at the point of uncertainty. So uncertainty is there in Indian agriculture. We are not having enough irrigation facilities everywhere. So the food grain stock is not just kind of thing which is uncertain. You cannot estimate that it will be certain or not in the future. निश्चित करना मुश्किल होता है. Then most farmers in India continue to face uncertainty of the weather. Now weather is a typical problem in India. Okay, in case India is having very varied type of climate because of this location of India, according to the geographical location. So this is the problem, and uncertainty of weather leads this green revolution down now. Now the farmers continue to expose to the uncertainties of the market as well. Okay, so there are some still some people can be seen, like middlemen can be seen, trader can be seen, so still they face this uncertainty. Even this sometimes they get good prices for the crop, sometimes they don't get the good prices for the crop, so it is an uncertainty. So they just think that this is an unprofitable subsistence farming, thus they just cannot get good profit sometimes. So this is a kind of problems. So here it is written, the farmer continue to be exposed to the uncertainty of the market, means market is always uncertain. You are not sure that what kind of price you can get. So that's why this thing is sometimes unprofitable for them. Then loan waivers are becoming a recurring feature. So loan waivers means some loan which has been taken by the farmers, they are not able to repay it back. So that is another problem in this field. So this is another failure for the green revolution, because some farmer who have taken the loan, they are not able to uh, give it back or pay it back to the banks. So that is the kind of problem. And again, if they are going for loan, then again that money is not able to be paid back to the bank. So this is how the banks are also not giving them the proper funds. So this is just like a failure in case of green revolution. But this is how we need another green revolution, because see, another green revolution can and with just aim that if the prices can be dropped off for all these inputs which are used by the using this high yield variety seeds, if the prices will be less, so each and every farmer would be able to use these inputs, and in the future we will able to meet the future requirement of the growing population also. So this is how we can end it. Now that's all in this chapter. This was your third chapter. Okay, so here the reforms, land reform, technical reform, general reforms are very important. The condition of this agriculture features are important question in this chapter. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.